Okay, I'll make that 1 minute past 10. We've got a lot to get through today, so let's kick off. Hi everyone, thanks very much for joining us this morning for this webinar from Kinetics, which we will go through some new features in Microsoft Copilot and what they mean and what they can do. Before we kick off, a few introductions. My name's Rhys Kerrigan. I'm the head of the consulting arm of Kinetics, which is called Kambium. My role, apart from managing the team here, involves acting as a part-time or a fractional IT manager for organisations here in New Zealand, some in Auckland, some in Christchurch, giving them advice and making sure that their IT strategy kind of fits their business strategy. I'm joined by Ben Fish, who is our practice lead for digital enablement, and he's the guru when it comes to all things AI and especially the Microsoft Suite and Microsoft Copilot. So I'm just here to smile and nod. Ben's the guy who's going to give us all the good information today. A bit of housekeeping. This presentation is being recorded and we will be sharing it on the kinetics.co.nz website following the conclusion of this webinar. All your microphones will be muted, but feel free, if you've got questions, put them into the chat and I'll keep an eye on those questions and we'll address them either at the time or at the end of the presentation. We've got 30 minutes today, and like I said, we've got quite a bit to get through. So without further ado, Ben, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Rhys. Right, okay, what we're going to start off with, one of the new things that's come into Copilot is what they call agentic AI. Originally, they called it agent mode. They might very well still call it that, but in the couple of months I've been using it, it's already gone through sort of 3 different appearance changes of how it looks in different applications. So what is it and what does it do? Well, first of all, it's available when you're working in Word, Outlook, PowerPoint and Excel. And its functionality really does depend a bit on whether you've got the basic or the premium license. Everyone who's got Microsoft 365 at least has the basic license for Copilot. Okay, so what does it actually do? Okay, well, it actually works with you to work on the task that you have given it. For example, if you would ask it to update a document, it will actually update a document. It will rewrite things for you. It will create spreadsheets from scratch for you in Excel. It will create presentations for you as well. It will update slides. And depending on the license you've actually got in Outlook, you can find it can help you create meetings and draft emails as well, all sorts of bits. Okay, so we've got a few of the examples of what it can do there. Okay, and a wee example of a prompt there. So you'll see there, I'm asking it for help to set up my one-to-ones. This is one that I'd use in Outlook there, and I want to set up one-to-ones for all of me and all of my colleagues that I need to set up a one-to-one with, give it a bit of instruction, allow an hour for each, etc. And Copilot comes back and says, right, well, here you go. Here are the meetings. Do you want to approve those? Once I click on approve, it's going to send those invitations out for those times. Hey, now here's something a little bit more complex. So I've got it in video and it's actually something that would normally take about, in this instance, it takes about 10 minutes. I'm not going to make you sit through a 10-minute video, but here's an example of agentic AI or agent mode within PowerPoint. Before I actually run the video, just to show you, here's how you can actually tell that it is going to create stuff for you. It's got allow editing under there's an option to change it to say that you just want to use traditional Copilot chat, and you'll start to see in some applications it will give you an option that you'd like to plan something out before you get it to execute it. Okay, so simply put here, what I've asked it to do is to create a 5-slide presentation. I've got some reference documents to refer to, what my presentation is going to be about, and also some brand guidelines. So as I say, this video is actually sped up, so we're not sitting here watching 10 minutes of video. So I will play that and you'll see it go away. So what you'll find is it's coming back with questions for me. I know it's firing through this quite quickly, and it's going away and it is building my presentation, gathering information from me if it needs to query stuff. Okay, you'll see at certain points it might look like it isn't doing much, but of course planning the slides and the images is quite involved, so that takes a bit longer. It even realizes in PowerPoint, hey, well, some of the stuff maybe doesn't look quite right, so I'm going to actually go ahead and fix that. And there we go. There's my presentation on Jack Russell in Kambium format. Okay, so that's the team I work for at Kinetic. So that's got all our branding on there, the right colors, and it's using some of the things we like to do on our slideshows. So pretty cool. It's actually a massive improvement over how Copilot could create presentations before, where you'd end up with 30 or 40 slides of stuff that you generally had to go through and delete. So pretty cool. Just watch out. It isn't anywhere near as quick as what I showed you there. That video was sped up, but I think it was about 8 minutes it actually took to do that. And you can go off and do other stuff while it's creating your presentation. Just watch out because it does sometimes come back with queries for you. Right, sorry, don't want to see that video again. Let's move over to the next thing. So the next big update, that actually ties in with the bit before as well, is that we've actually got Claude in Copilot. So that's where it's really able to do a lot of things on there. I just saw a question pop up there. Does it work in the background? Yeah, what it can do is I don't have to necessarily sit there watching it go through the process. I can go off and do other stuff. I can't really do anything else in PowerPoint at the time, though, in that example. Okay, certainly not on that presentation. Okay, so what we've got now is traditionally the AI that worked within Copilot was OpenAI's ChatGPT. That's the language models that it used, the LLMs. But now you've also got Claude available as well. So that's why there's actually, to me, quite a lot of improvement there. Now, you don't have to necessarily choose Claude. I should point out, if you do go into Copilot Chat, there is an auto mode that it uses by default. And when you use that, it picks what it believes will be the best language model for the request that you have given it. Okay, but you can choose. Yeah, I'll show you that in a moment, how you do choose it. Okay, but we now have Claude as well. That's one that's actually owned by a different company, not OpenAI. It's Anthropic. Okay, so it gives us far more choice on the model that we want to choose. Okay, there might be some that give you better results, or you've just got a preference for. So it's better think about Claude here. What is it good at? So it's good at deep reasoning. Excels at complex multi-step analysis, ideal for research, financial modeling, detailed document work, etc. Okay, it's known for its natural writing. Okay, so a bit there, nuanced, human-sounding language. High quality drafts, summaries, and communications. Okay, it powers Cowork. That's something that we're going to look at shortly within our slides. Okay, so Cowork goes sort of beyond what we saw a moment ago with what I did in PowerPoint, where it did carry out various steps and it asked me a few queries along the way. This is far more detailed than that, depending on the task you are looking to do. We're going to see that as well. Okay. And you'll just see as well with some of the features in Copilot, if you've ever used Copilot's researcher agent, okay, this now combines Claude and ChatGPT's language models together. Right, as it says there, using each model's strength for richer and more thorough insights. Okay, so you're getting the best of multiple large language models there when you use that.
Ben, just another question from Roger. You've listed some reasons why Claude or where Claude is strong. What's OpenAI or ChatGPT better at? In your opinion?
Okay. We don't have a comparison on that at the moment. So I must admit, for me, I'm, and I'll just show you this because how do you know which one you are using or which one to choose? So just bear with me while I bring it up on screen. So I did talk about there's the auto mode. So basically it decides how long the thing, it decides which of these to actually go through. So I'd probably recommend you do a bit of a side-by-side comparison. Not on every one of these, but we'll see we've got the latest GPTs now. Up to about a week ago, you only had 5.5 in the quick response, and now we've got the Think Deeper. So I almost think it's a bit like, you've got there's cars that you prefer to other cars, my car at work, I preferred the stereo on my old car, etc. So it's probably a bit about what you like and how it interacts with you, but give them a go. But you can certainly say, hey, I only want to try Claude by picking it, and then it will go and do that and put your information in. Or if you want to try know that you're specifically using one of the OpenAI ones, the chat GPTs as it were, choose from those and do a bit of a back-to-back comparison, see which is your favorite. Of course they do keep evolving, so what might be your favorite today might not be in a week's time, as features do change. Okay, but under there, you can certainly choose those. You'll also find that as well within the different applications as well. If you go to the auto drop down, if you see it, you can potentially pick from different large language models in those too. I certainly know in PowerPoint, you can specify that you are trying to use one of the image creation language models as well. So do have a play on those. Don't just leave it on auto. Okay, so where will I find Claude? So we saw it a moment ago in the chat there where I could show it. So here's that example in PowerPoint. You'll see you can choose between 4.6 or 4.7. And if you are actually developing your own agents using Copilot Studio, you'll find that you can decide which large language model you want to use for your agent. I'm just showing the Anthropic ones there, the Claude ones, but you'll find, of course, you can pick from the OpenAI ones as well. And I'm not sure if it's in there anymore, but I think at one point they even had, Elon Musk's one, Grok, in there as a choice too. So it would be very much experiment with those and see which you find has that you've got a preference for in terms of how it delivers the results. Okay, so this is probably the big one, certainly from a Microsoft's perspective, and I've had a few colleagues who've been away and attending events and have come back and gone, wow, this Copilot Cowork looks really good. So what is Copilot Cowork? Okay, so as it's put on there, it's described as being an AI colleague, not just a chatbot. Now, even the chat in Copilot has evolved. It used to be, it was very much, hey, I'll ask it something and I'll get a response and I've got to do something with the response. Yes, you could then ask it to turn it into a document or a PowerPoint or an Excel as well. That's much improved within the chat. You can do give it multi-stage tasks to do within it, but that's really where Copilot Cowork actually excels, where you've got maybe more complex problems or you've got things that you would like to repeat, that you want to happen each day or several times a day, and Copilot Cowork will help you create those workflows, you might call them. There's also a term in there called skills, but we'll come to that in a moment and I'll actually show you how it actually looks for real, not just what we're talking about on the slide. So as it says there, It's not just a chatbot. It goes way beyond just asking questions. It will take ownerships of tasks. It will be running those tasks in the background so you can get on and do other things as well. It works across your apps. Now, there's a bit of not a gotcha, as it were. It works across the main Office apps at the moment, and your SharePoint, your SharePoint and your OneDrive as well. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily work across all your other business apps, as it were, as it stands at the moment. Okay. Basically, you tell Cowork what you'd like to do. It will come back to you with questions, clarify things. I would suggest that you don't just go in and straight away ask it what you would like to do. I would actually plan on a piece of paper, as it were, what is it you are looking for Copilot, Cowork to help you with. Okay, then you can describe what those bits are and then go and put that in and get assistance from it to build that out. Okay, so it has what are called skills. So it's got some lots of inbuilt skills, such as it can create Word documents, it can create Excels, it can, go into email and look at meetings and create meetings and move meetings and create emails and reply to emails, etc. So all sorts of things it can do, but you can actually build out skills that you want it to have. So an example might be if you wanted it to create PowerPoints for you, you might ask it that, right, whenever I want you to be able to create PowerPoints for me, but I always want you to use this company template, and I want you to ask me whether I've got a document that has got my research in it for what I want to present on, or do I want you to go away and do some research for me? Is it detailed research or quick research? Have I got a stack of images that I would like you to use in there? What language should the presentation be in, etc. So you can, give it quite, I suppose, a detailed set of skills and not just a simple, hey, you're going to create a presentation. In fact, it's already got that skill. You can make it more in how you would approach the task in hand. Okay, now these are some examples Microsoft give on how to use it. I'll show you a couple that I've actually been working on in a moment. So, it can help triage your calendar. It can look over conflicts if you've got multiple meetings. It can propose new times. And then if you approve those new times, send the invites off for you. So you're not having to do that looking over there. There is a bit of a balance there of the speed of how it works and how you might actually work as well. Although it could be doing those things while you're getting on and doing something else. Okay, being able to prep for meetings, creating things ready for the meeting, etc. It could be a script of questions you want to ask, whatever it may be. And then follow-ups as well. So it's talking about meetings here, but this can apply to, sort of anything. It could be you want it to triage your inbox at the start of the day on what's happened in the last 24 hours or, 48 hours. Is there stuff you need to pay attention to? Is there stuff you can simply delete, etc., etc.? Okay, so we are going to just skip out of the presentation again, and I'll actually show you a couple of bits that I have been using it for. Okay, so this is Cowork here. Now, just note, you might not get it yet yourselves, even if you're on the premium license. In fact, you've got to be on the premium license, and you need to be on something called the Frontier program. So note on the side here, it says Frontier, and that's a bit of stuff in the background that needs to be switched on for people to be able to do that. Frontier program means you basically get newer features quicker than anyone else. So what I've got here is, in terms of Cowork, I could simply put in the tasks that I'm looking to actually tackle. I'll just show you. These are pre-set ones. I won't actually run them, but I'll just show you, organize my inbox. You see what I mean about thinking about what you would actually like it to do rather than just type it straight into here. You might want to plan this out, type it up in a Word document and then go and paste it in. Okay, but this is one of the predefined ones. I'm not going to go and run that because these all take a wee bit of time to do. We'll have an example in a moment. Now, as well as being able to run things as sort of one-offs, so these are displaying here and what's called my recent, and you'll notice it's completed them there. I'll just go and expand this one out and you'll see once it settles down. So I just said, right, I want to create a presentation about Copilot Cowork. It came back and said, so what's the source for your material? Because I've said, right, whenever you create a presentation for me, you ask me, you know, where the source material is. You ask me how many slides I want. You ask me in what language, who it's for. I want you to ask me, right, have I got images, etc., etc. Okay, so finally it's gone through all this stuff. You know, it's worked away in the background and it's created my wee presentation about Copilot Cowork. You know, I've asked it to send it to me, but you'll see it rocks up here. So here it is, my Copilot presentation, all in the Kinetics branding. With images that I specified from a folder, hence the caps in there, and also in the language that I specified as well. And strictly sticking to that 8 slides, not going, I'll do 9 or 10, you know, it's following what I want. So every time I now want to create a presentation, now I've sort of set up the skill where I told it all the things to ask me as well as create the presentation. I simply go and ask it to create a presentation and it will fire away and come back with me with questions to me to get that presentation done. Okay, now that's a sort of an as and when. Whenever I need to create a presentation, I now use that skill that I've helped develop with Copilot you know, go ahead and do that. So other things we can do is we can actually schedule things. All right, so for these ones here, what I've done is we have on the Kambium team, we have an inbox, you know, for the Kambium team. You know, and of course, in our day-to-day, we're just busy and we generally focus on our own boxes. You know, Rhys focuses on his, I focus on mine. So sometimes the support, you know, gets a little bit left behind in comparison. So what we've got happening instead is, or I've done this, I've tasked myself with monitoring the support and my colleagues don't have to worry about it now, is that it's going to look over the shared mailbox and several times a day, it is going to check and see if there's anything new that's in there and if it's a query that we need to address to actually go ahead and address that. So I'll just come to the run it did at around 7 a.m. this morning. And it's come through, you know, again, it's gone through all the things it's meant to go and do. And it's picked up that although there wasn't any new emails, there was an unread one in there still. So I've told it if it's not been actioned before and it's unread, let me know about it. And it's put stuff in there. And you can even interact with that as well. So although it might tell you something, you can strike up a conversation as well and ask it to do things. So basically the gist of that one is, what do I end up with? Well, or what do me and the team end up with? Well, at 7 o'clock, or once it's run through 7, and we've got it running at I think 1 p.m. as well, what it does is if there's anything that needed to respond to, it goes and creates a draft response in the drafts folder of the shared inbox, this one here, for us to actually pick up. So again, I'll just come in and show you this is here. So there was a request from this person here, Dinesh Raj, and they were asking about Copilot training, and Cowork has gone and crafted that response for us. Now, it doesn't matter whether I get one email that needs responding to or I get 100, you know, it would, you know, have the relevant number of drafts in there. Okay, so of course, I'm not just going to simply send this. I am going to review it and decide where I want to send it. We've actually got it, you know, sending out a potential meeting date as well. So all sorts of stuff that it's doing. I'll just come back one and just to show you, you know, here's the bit about the schedule as well. So you can always pause it at any point. You can run it at any point as well, so you don't have to follow the schedule that it's doing. My other wee one here is to process stuff that's in a SharePoint folder and to actually go and transfer the information from invoices that come into the SharePoint folder into an Excel as well. I'll just go to this wee one here where it did it 4 hours ago, so it's meant to run, and you'll see here it's gone through and it found 11 PDFs. It took 11 rows of information and wrote it into this Excel file for me to then review. Hey, what have we got to do next with these transactions? On that, I've actually got it emailing me as well. So this is the information it pulled out of those documents, those PDFs, and I can always go and check those. There's a wee link in there too to do that. So all sorts of clever stuff. It's really thinking about what is the challenge, the problem you are trying to solve or do more efficiently, and could Cowork actually help you out?
Just while you're pausing there, Ben, we've had a couple of questions come in respect to staff members creating agents. What are the risks around this, especially when they may or may not be checked by the IT team? Do the risks get heightened creating agents?
Yeah, I mean, one thing about it is when you go into, so for those of you who don't know, there's a few places you can create agents, potentially from SharePoint, potentially from the chat interface, and also I suppose the main place where most of us might go to create them if we feel we're confident and skilled enough would be Copilot Studio. And Copilot Studio allows you to connect to all sorts of different sources. So yeah, basically you'd want to keep an eye on what's actually being created. Microsoft are looking to improve that you can actually sort of put up guardrails and be notified about when agents are created. Put simply, at the moment, you can actually do that from the Power Platform. So agents rock up in the Power Platform, and there is an inventory area in there where it tells you all about all the Power Automate flows, all the Power Apps, and all the agents that have actually been created in your tenant. As long as you've got high enough rights to the Power Platform Admin Center, so you can be doing even a more manual check periodically of like, hey, what's getting created there? But yeah, Microsoft are definitely introducing methods to allow that to be a bit more proactive. Yeah, there's something they've been talking about. They call it Agent 365, which is about, monitoring, tracking, controlling agents that are actually developed. But yeah, you're definitely right to have cause for caution.
Yeah, and I guess one of the things there too is you should not necessarily, you should be worried or look at your data governance when you're rolling out any Copilot or AI tool to make sure Copilot will respect permissions, but it might find stuff that the user otherwise wouldn't find. So you want to be careful around that. And then, like Ben said, one of the things we've come across, not so much a security problem, but a supportability. So in those Power Platforms and including Copilot agents, if someone built that agent and then the rest of your team are using it and think it's great, and then they leave, and you lose that knowledge, and sometimes you lose the ability to manage it as well. So that's something to look at. We had another question: is Claude available to all Copilot users because they're not seeing it as an option? So I believe you have to have a Copilot license to see the Claude Opus options.
Yeah, I believe you've got to be on the premium license. I've got 2 licenses, and I definitely have seen no evidence of Claude in Copilot on the tenant where I have a basic license. Okay, it's switched on to be allowed to use it, but it doesn't. There's nothing under that auto setting in the chat to see those Claude models. Okay, so just a couple of bits to wrap up in terms of feature set. So a couple of favorite features that I've come across. Again, this is reliant on the premium, the first one, and that's image editing within PowerPoint. You can simply click on a picture, go up to the picture tab/ribbon, and it now gives you an edit picture option. And you'll see here, you can quickly take away some of the cookies. Probably should have done a spot the difference competition if we had time. those are now easy to create. But we'll see there, it was pretty straightforward. All I did was click on the objects I wanted to remove, clicked remove them, and it went ahead and did that. So it took the cookies away, and it took the jar away, and took a bit of the jar away. Pretty cool. And I suppose if you're worried a bit about people doing things and getting really creative and how do we control this, well, this last week video, there is a feature called vibe coding that is now available in Power Apps. It's a preview feature at the moment, but let me just see if I can bring this up on full screen. Right, just bear with me. I'm going to, in fact, well, yeah, let's see if I can bring this up on full screen, actually. Just bear with me. It's worth having a proper look at. There we go. So this is called vibe coding. What it is, you just tell let me just go back a bit actually to what the initial request was on it. Basically, you use AI to build apps for you, fully featured functioning apps. So my request here was to build an app for employees to submit their expenses. I've got a bit of stuff about what they need to be able to do with it. You can plan it out first, so you can go for a bit more of the detail, but I simply put this in and then I sent it away, and it went away and it started planning it out, and it went and built the app. Again, obviously this is speeded up so we can see it, but it took around, again, I don't know why, it was around about the 8 to 10 minute mark where it went through and it developed the app for me based on my requirements. Now, the great thing is if I didn't quite like the app, I could go back and tell it in the box what I didn't like. And before we just get to the publishing of it, I'll just pause the video here. Here is the app that it's created. It's got a dashboard. It's got the option to submit an expense for me to look at my expenses, etc. Some sample data in there. And if I simply go and publish it now, I can then go and share it with other users to use. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. With that. By the way, what it does, it creates all the tables in Dataverse where it needs to record the data, but my understanding is you're going to be able to connect it to SharePoint tables, which will be pretty cool if you're a SharePoint user. Right, let's not watch that video again. Let's come to our closing thoughts. Copilot, I mean, it might not be called that at some point, but it's pretty much here to stay, I would say. It's getting better and better. So if you are not using it already or you've not tried it out, just go in. You simply just have to go to office.com in your web browser, in Edge, for example, or Chrome, if that's your preference. Sign into your Microsoft account, and you will be in and using Copilot as well. Before you do any of this stuff, sometimes it's tempting to just go, what can we use AI for, rather than go, hey, what are the things that we do that we feel we would like to improve or tackle one at a time as well. So what we call identifying use cases, the processes, the procedures, and what's the technology that can actually help you. Could be Copilot, might be something else. Okay, a bit like coming on the webinar, of course, this is a brief overview of those new features, is certainly get your people trained as well, and build awareness and keep that awareness up by keeping them updated, because this stuff just is evolving and changing all the time as well. And of course, if you need support on that, you definitely don't have to go it alone. We're here to help you, with all aspects that cover not just Copilot, so everything from training, like Rhys mentioned as well, stuff around security, best practices, all those bits as well. We're here to assist. So we will wrap up with an opportunity for further questions, if you'd like to stay and ask any more.
So there is a question there. Is there an aspect like Claude designed for brand refreshes?
Okay. I mean, you could, I'm sure you could just go in and one, you could likely plan out what you're looking to do or get advice from, using Copilot or using Cowork to actually help you out with that. It's more, what I found is some of the stuff in there, particularly with Cowork, and it applies to Copilot as well, is you don't have to know how to do something because you can start to question, how would I do it? So, for example, if we're doing a brand refresh, we might be like, right, what we're looking to do a brand refresh, what would we need to do? And then you could look at taking that, of course, on what it suggests you do, revising it as per your own requirements and thoughts, of course, and then putting that into, Copilot again, whether it's Copilot or whether it's, another AI or it's Copilot, Cowork, you're going to be able to do that and get assistance on it. Okay, so we should almost never be, unless we've got no idea about anything, we should never be looking at a blank page because we can quite quickly get started by just putting in a simple prompt.
Cool. Another question from David Cable. Hi, David. Can a Cowork skill be shared?
Okay, well, that's the thing about it. It's a bit like the Copilot chat stuff. It seems at the moment it's very much personal. What I mean, Copilot, Cowork is my, assistant, as it were. So we might have those things where we're like, right, well, that create presentation skill that you created, where it prompts you for what template should we use, etc. We all want that. And at the moment, it's just sitting with me. And my current exploration is that it can't be shared at the moment, but it changes all the time. So I'll certainly be keeping my eye on it. Because of course, you make the effort to do these things, and you want to share with your colleagues as well.
And a question from Tim. Hi, Tim. When you vibe code an app and publish it to colleagues, where is it running? So in that case, I think it was creating a Power App, wasn't it?
Yeah. So this one, it's keeping it with what I was doing. It's within the Microsoft world, within our tenant as such, and any tables it's creating at the moment are held in their Dataverse tables. So that does mean for many of us, we probably don't have a Dataverse license, or the appropriate Power Apps licensing for that. So do just be aware of that. That's why I'm quite excited about being able to use SharePoint tables instead. That's meant to be coming, where hopefully there won't be those additional license costs, but I don't quite know how that is going to work at the moment. But if you're going down that route, it isn't simply you've created the app. Like I say, it's going to be putting data into the Dataverse, and you would need to pay for that. And I think you generally have to pay for it for all users of the app as well. Yeah, it's not just the app creator / owner.
So another question from Lincoln, which I think I might be able to answer. How secure is the information you engage with Copilot or Claude? Is it going to be potentially used for training? So I think when it comes to Copilot, Microsoft have been very clear that they do not use your data to train the model. The trick with that is when you're using Copilot, just make sure you're signed in with your Microsoft business account. And then that's always the case. Copilot will respect permissions and the trust and the compliance that goes across all of your 365 tenant, and it will not use that information to train the model. And that goes for when you're choosing the Claude model within Copilot, the same rules apply. They're not using any of your data to train the Claude or OpenAI models. Having said that, if you're using Claude or any other AI tool, typically the rule is if it's free, then they will be using your data to train the model. And then once you pay for it, they're typically not. And often that's just a change of the defaults. I know in the likes of ChatGPT, the default for a paid for license is that they don't use it to train the model. It's certainly something you want to be very careful about, especially if you're uploading very sensitive information and asking AI to summarize it. You want to make sure that that data that you're uploading is not going to be shared to with the public model.
Yeah, and just watch out. And I mean, the info you may gather on how these things work. So when they first introduced the Anthropic models, Claude, back just pre this year, towards the end of 2025, the user agreement was slightly different. And it may well be you come across that information where it was going into the the Claude infrastructure, but that certainly isn't the case now. I know that I read an article the other day and the person was going, watch out with Claude because within Copilot, because it is not treating your data with the same respect and rules. Well, that's actually not true. It changed in January and it's the same as the other large language models in Copilot, the ChatGPT ones. Your data is protected as well.
Great. Awesome. Well, we've run a bit over time, but there was a lot to get through and a few really good questions. Thank you.
Okay, so our last wee bit there is we run an AI innovation circle. Okay, so as you'll see there, it's a collaborative working group for small and medium NZ business managers navigating AI. The next one is on Thursday, the 25th of June. It's actually, about you contributing as well as hearing thoughts, ideas from others as well. So it isn't just to come along, sit and watch like the webinar, as it were. So if you are interested in that, do register. We'll be circulating the slides afterwards as well as the video, so you can follow the links. But it's on our events page as well on the Kinetics website. Did you want to add anything more, Rhys?
No, that's everything. Thanks again for everyone joining. As I said, this recording will be up on our website very soon. So keep an eye on the Kinetics Events website for future webinars, and yeah, feel free to register for the AI Innovation Circle if you are struggling to roll out and manage AI within your organization. Thanks a lot.